If you are stuck in a reading slump and you're looking out for books which will help you to get out of that reading slump, you're looking out for page turners. Once you start reading these books, you can't get out of them and that kind of a thing. If you're looking for these kind of recommendations, then this video is for you. Hey you beautiful people, welcome back to a new video on our channel Read Travel Become. In this video, I'm going to share some amazing fresh book recommendations for you guys. In the last couple of weeks, I've been reading a lot of different genres. I've picked up some great books. These are absolutely fresh recommendations which I haven't recommended before. In this video, I'm going to share all of these books. Each and every book in this list is a page turner. Once you start reading it in its own space, it's a very catchy read. Language is easy and the topic in which I'm taking it is going to be very interesting. So this video is going to be very helpful and interesting. So make sure you watch the video till the end. You may never know which thought or fact may resonate with you and change the course of your life. So let's get started. So the first book which I'm going to recommend is actually a graphic novel. Let me tell you how did I come across this book. In a library where I'm studying, where I go study and do my work, they were celebrating a science week, and this book was kept at the center of the shelf, which was basically to celebrate scientists and logical thinkers and philosophers. And I picked up this book. It was called Logicomics, An Epic Quest for Truth. I had not known about this particular figure, this particular mathematician turned logical thinker. He was called Bertrand Russell, and the graphic novel is all about him. It's actually a biography. So now the topic of the book was very dense. I was just imagining, as I was reading through the book, that if this would have been a book, a novel, it would have been a bit difficult for me to understand everything. But because it was written in a graphic format, they had amazing illustrations and amazing dialogue form of writing. I was really invested in the book. First 50% I didn't even realize I read it in just one go. The book was that attractive. So the book is about this particular figure in history, Bertrand Russell, who was originally a mathematician, but he was very intrigued with logical reasoning. He was intrigued with how philosophy can be mixed with mathematics, and if there's a different system that can be built out which can help mathematicians think logically and which can help philosophicals think about mathematics. He used to call himself a logician, not a mathematician, not a philosopher. He used to call him a logician, and Logicomics is basically just about that. So I love the entire premise of the book. At some points the book gets really heavy and dense with philosophy and mathematics. That's the latter half of the book. And nonetheless, if you're interested in this kind of a topic, a biography, a graphic novel, a very gripping story, then this book is definitely for you. Illustrations are amazing, and I really love the fact that the writers who have given out these illustrations also sometimes break the fourth wall. They talk to you directly as if they're writing the book. You will understand what I'm talking about when you read the book. So these elements were really nice. So yeah, this is the first recommendation, Logicomics. Definitely pick it up if you like mathematics, science, philosophy, these kind of things, and you want an easy read in a form of an illustration. The next book on the list is a pulp fiction novel, a very catchy soap thriller kind of a novel, a classic murder mystery which has political environment involved, which has CIA involved, which has a painting involved, all those beautiful, all those catchy plot points. The book I'm talking about is called False Impression by Jeffrey Archer. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, False Impression by Jeffrey Archer. So those who have been following my channel know that I started my reading journey with Jeffrey Archer. He writes such fast-paced books. Like the plot starts right from the first page and it's just plot. The characters are not at all wasting any time. They're just going on with the plot, and it's a very guilty pleasure kind of a thing, soap opera kind of a thing that you can read. So if you're in a reading slump, Jeffrey Archer is the best person to go to. So this particular book, False Impression, is about a stolen Van Gogh painting. That's how I picked up this book. I'm a huge Van Gogh fan, and anything about him really interests me. So I picked up this book, and it was a great read. I wouldn't complain. Some people say that he's not got that depth of literature, and he uses very simple words, but sometimes you need those simple words, and I feel sometimes easy language is more difficult to write. You want to explain a large concept to readers in a very easy way. That is also very difficult. This book has a lot of things going on. It's about 5 to 6 characters. Everything is happening around the 9/11 incident that occurred. There's a woman who's killed right before 9/11. There's a financial advisor who has a lot of his properties invested, who has a lot of his finances invested somewhere in art dealing, so he has some problems. There's an Olympic medalist who wants to be an assassin, and crazy stuff is going on. I can't really explain the plot of the book, but it's very, very pacey. If you're into pacey books, thriller, fast books, then you can pick up this book. It's a very easy read, and if you like pulp fiction, then this book is definitely for you. Next on the list is again a fiction book. I'm reading a lot of fiction these days. The book is called Haroon and the Sea of Stories, and it's written by none other than Salman Rushdie. Now you would be asking me, why is Salman Rushdie on this list of page turners? Because generally his books are very dense. If you pick up Midnight's Children and all of his other books, they're very dense, they're very literature heavy, and you need to invest a lot of time in understanding the whole context and plot of his entire novel, and it's always in metaphors, so you need to be very aware. But this particular book is not that. This book is a very easy read. It's almost a children's book. I just found out about this book. I was going through the Salman Rushdie collection, and I suddenly found out that he has written this very easy book. Apparently he wrote it for his own son, and it's a very, very easy read, and I loved reading it. If you are in a reading slump, this book is a great book to read because it has got all those elements of magical realism which Salman Rushdie writes about. This book is about a storyteller, so he borrows his storytelling abilities from a sea of stories. So he has a subscription there where a genie comes and gives him stories to tell, and one day he just loses his power of telling stories. So now it's up to his son, called Haroon, the central character, who goes on this quest to find out about where his father got his stories from. He wants to go there and find out what is exactly happening, and there's a whole bunch of magical realism elements there. It's a whole fantasy land there where there's a classic rescue the princess, the fight of good over evil, and everything related to the fantasy element, quest of a hero's journey. All of those elements are there. If you're into this kind of writing, if you're into this kind of plot, then this book definitely is for you, and you would definitely get to brag that you have read Salman Rushdie if you pick up this book. So Haroon and the Sea of Stories is a very good recommendation. Very small. It's under 200 pages if I'm not wrong. You can read it in 1 or 2 settings easily. Very easy book. That was the recommendation. Next book on the list is a very topical book. You would definitely appreciate the writing of the book in the current AI scenario. The book is called Assam for the Wild Built. It's written by Hugo Award winner Becky Chambers, and see, it's a very, very short book, but the premise of the book is very, very interesting. Let me tell you. So there's a mystical land, it's a fictional land where robots have now gained self-consciousness. It's been quite some time that robots and AI was introduced. They took over everything, they got over everything, and now they have the ability to question themselves, to get self-consciousness and understand what is going around with them. And as soon as they start doing it, they just leave humanity away. They just go away from humanity, just like monks go away. So robots have gone away, and the story is about one particular monk who is trying to live his new life. He's trying to adapt to his new occupation of being a monk. He meets a robot who has gained self-consciousness. So there's a dialogue between the monk and the robot trying to discuss what is the meaning of life and what is the meaning to live. So, and all of this is written in a fictional format, in a story format. So you would love reading the entire concept of the book. Very refreshing read, different topic. If you are interested in fantasy elements but with a hint of philosophy, and also being very grounded, this book is not very fantastical. This book is very, very real, and real conversation, real philosophy is happening. Very interesting premise. If you are into these kind of things, definitely pick up this book. If you have read it, let me know in the comment section, how did you like it? It's a different read. I wouldn't say I love it or I would 100% recommend it to everyone, but for people who are into these things, it can be a very different and refreshing read. So yeah, this was my recommendation. Next on the list is a biography. For those who don't know, I'm a huge fan of biographies and autobiographies, because it's actually a dialogue between you and the writer of a person you know about, so that when you know that person, you want to know more about him or her. You want to know how they took their journey, how they overcame obstacles, and how they faced successes and failures. So I love biographies, and this particular biography is about Sam Walton. This book is called Made in America. It's written by Sam Walton, who is the co-founder, chairman of Walmart. Walmart is a huge retail company. This book is how Walmart was started, what was the philosophy behind it, why did they do what they did, and how a family controls, the Walton family controls the entire retail ecosystem in the world. This book is a biography about that. Very, very easy to read, very refreshing read. Again, I picked this up because I was really intrigued with Shoe Dog, and I was looking out for a read which is very similar to Shoe Dog. This is not as good as Shoe Dog, I would say, but nonetheless, it's a refreshing read, and you would get to know about Walmart from a very different perspective. You would never see Walmart the same way after reading this book. Walmart is the #1 Fortune 500 company right now. It has a huge global infrastructure. It has a huge global presence. It's literally the retailer king right now when it comes to shopping and retail and all those kind of things. So definitely recommended if you are into business and if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a CEO of a company. Next on the list is a fictional novella. I would call it a novella because it's very short in length, and it's written by a Japanese author. It had sold millions of copies in Japan, and when it it came to the US, again in the US and in the other parts of the country, in other parts of the world, this book was very, very popular. That's why I picked it up. The book is called Convenience Store Woman. It's written by Sayaka Murata. It's a short novella. It's a short character study about a girl, about a woman in Japan. She's a convenience store worker. She's working as an attendant in a convenience store for almost all of her life. For 15, 20, 25 years, she's working in that convenience store. And she is just a very, very different character. You have never read a character like this particular girl, because for her, the store is everything. She always feels about the store. She always thinks about the store. And she has no other ambitions in life other than just to get up in the morning, go to the store, do her work and come back. It's about this mentality of a convenience store worker mentality. And what happens next when she meets some different characters and how she analyzes the world around her, how she analyzes what is going on inside her, is about this book. It's mostly a character study with some storytelling elements. But if you are into these kind of things where you want to know so much about a character that you want to explore the depths of their basically psychoanalysis, then this book is definitely for you. You will get to know a lot about the Japanese culture, how Japanese people think, feel, do, act. Although it's written in a Japanese setting, but you can also relate to this. The writing is that simple and relatable. So definitely check out this book, Convenience Store Woman. Very, very short read. In 1 or 2 sittings, you can finish it very easily. And the last book in this list is Malice by Kiigo Higashino. Kiigo Higashino is the name of the writer, the name of the Japanese writer. Again, a Japanese book. I'm into Japanese literature these days for some reason. This is again a very, very interesting book. The premise is simple. It's a classic whodunit mystery. It's like a murder mystery. Somebody has died and somebody has to find out how did the murder happen. But this has a very different take to it. You already know who the killer is or who might the killer is. The writer doesn't want you to guess who the killer is. The writer wants you to know what the process was and how did all of that happen. And there's one thing which I can't spoil for you. One thing which after you read the book, you understand that that was a central premise of the book, which was mentioned very, very casually. And it's a very important lesson that as a reader, you would get to know. Basically, as a reader, if you are into thriller novels, you would understand there's a certain type of writing thriller novels where you sometimes know that this is not the killer, but this is going to be a killer. There are many tropes of writing a thriller novel, but this novel is an outlier when it comes to thriller books, because it also teaches you something very, very interesting when you are reading thriller books. I am really dying to share what the main thing is, but I can't share it right now because it would spoil the entire book. So read this book. It's a very interesting premise. It's a very fresh writing. It's a very intriguing premise. It's different kind of a novel. You would love it if you are into thriller books. Pick it up, and if you have read this book, let me know in the comment section. We can discuss what your thoughts are. I absolutely loved it. It was very refreshing. Yeah, so let me know what you think. So that was the list of new books which I wanted to share. Thank you so much for watching the video till here. If you found any value in this video, do hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. That's all for this video. Stay tuned for more such interesting bookish recommendation videos. I'm in the process of making a lot of interesting videos for you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you have always given me on my channel. That's all for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.